Hey guys, it's Cassie and Joe, the jewelry couple, and today we're talking about one of the four C's, and it's color.
Color. Color is very, very important. We're talking about out of everything, the one of the two things that we can play with and really, really show up. Really, really show up. Size, you can see, and color, you will be able to see it as well.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about color, let's take a look up right above us, the color scale. Now, remember, we're not talking about different colored diamonds, green diamonds, blue diamonds.
No, this is specifically white diamonds, and also clarity has nothing to do with what we're talking about. We're just talking about how white the stone is, not what imperfections it has. This is just the color of the stone.
Right. It's called the normal color scale. Beyond that, you get into all the fancy colors. So let's stick to what most people are looking for, which is when they're looking for an engagement ring, it's going to be a white stone or in that normal color scale. It starts at D. One of the questions I usually get is, why D? Well, I always say, well, D for diamond, right? But it was also because you think of when you buy groceries, you have triple A eggs or triple B milk or whatever you have with purveyors of all different industries. A is always considered to be the top. Well, the diamond industry wanted to set itself apart. Didn't want you to get confused with all those other things because you could say A, double A, triple A. They said, you know what? Let's scrap the whole idea. We'll keep the alphabet, but we'll start at D. So that's where we're going to start right now. We have D, E, F. That is colorless. When you look at an F, a D, or an E, it's going to have no hint of anything in it. Now, it's incrementally better as you get up to D, but that's exactly what it is. It's incrementally better. So if you're going to go into the colorless range, if you want to go to D, by all means, that's cool. I mean, it's the best, but you're not going to see that much of a difference from an F, in my honest opinion, and you're going to pay a lot more.
Yeah.
What do we have in the near colorless range, Cass?
You have G, H, I, and then J is where it ends. And I typically sell a lot of G to I. I think you still have that beautiful white. You don't really have tints of yellow at all. And you're able to maximize like size. You know, you could get a ISI2 and be able to get a really big stone.
Right.
Like you're right towards the end of the near colorless. And if you can find a gorgeous, SI2.
It's all about calculated
playing with it.
Right, calculated sacrifices. And they make sense because you're not going to be able to see those things to the naked eye. Clarity or color. If it's a nice white stone, it's maybe a little hint, but you know what? It has a very nice cut and it shoots a lot of white light around.
Yeah.
You're going to optimize the size.
I think also, too, I would say 95% of people, when I have let's say F, G, H all next to each other, it's really hard for them to tell a big difference in color.
Right.
They're so
one
close.
to the next, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
You might be able to see the difference between an I and a G, but it's in the same family.
Yeah.
It's really close. In fact, that's where Tiffany starts. Get into branding later. But they charge a lot for their diamonds, and they're at an I color. They use the GIA scale as well. Same thing that we're talking about. So remember, I is a great place to start. J is also a good place to go. That's the final color in the clarity scale. And I was telling you about the color scale, rather. And I was talking to you earlier about, most, for maybe for me or you, J may not be the right call for us in particular, but some people, they don't really see that much of a difference.
Yeah.
A great example of this would be a round brilliant diamond that has a triple excellent, super nice cut. It's shooting lots of white light upwards. And it's also maybe an SI1 or an SI2. So they're trying to get something that's clean to the naked eye, but has a few marks in it to bring down the price. Nothing visible to the naked eye. And they really want to turn up the dial on size. See, that would make sense. Think of the 4 C's as little dials on your stereo. You turn up the size, you might have to turn down the color just a little bit to bring it back to your price. It
Mm-hmm.
makes everything astronomically affects each other, exponentially rather. So you have turn up the size, you might have to turn down the color. But okay, let's say I want to keep the color too. So what do I got to turn down? I got to turn down the clarity, which we talked about. And that's a smart one to take it down a few notches to maybe the SI range. And then you could optimize those things that do matter, the size and the color, which you will be able to see. Let's say you want to turn up the size again. What do? You turn down the color just a little bit. And J would be that instance sometimes when you want to bring the color up just a little bit.
And also, like with a J too, if we were to put 3 J's in front of somebody, there could be one J that's a lot better than the other 2 J's. I mean, it's once again like no diamond is apples to apples.
Yes.
A J you'll see online or at a department store is not going to be a J that we would pick.
Right.
So it's really just.
I'm glad we
depends.
were not even discussing this prior to recording, but I think that's a great point. We're talking about GIA certified stones as well. They are different. Sometimes another certificate might use the same language, same color grade, same clarity grade, same everything, but it's totally different. It might be off by 3 or 4 shades.
I mean, can I bring up the one example? My personal friend,
Sure.
Nikki. So she was dead set on wanting a D color. And we explained to her, like, DEF, you're going to have that same color. But she was, like, so dead set on
I want a D. I want a D.
So dead set. So we actually had a non-certified
It was
diamond.
something that I was going to put together for some studs.
Right.
And it was a smaller stone.
Which we'll get into that later, too.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with buying a non-certified stone. We encourage a certificate, but if you're sticking on a budget,
Right.
there's not, you get it checked out, you get it appraised. There's nothing wrong with that either.
You should, if you're going to do that, you should be dealing with someone that you trust.
Right.
I'm hoping that you would trust us eventually in the future, if you haven't already. But this is the proper information that you should go with moving forward.
Right. So on that note, we graded this stone as an F, SI2.
Right.
And sure enough, she wanted to get it GIA certified. I said, no problem. A couple $100, take it to the laboratory. It came back to us as a D. So I'm like, Nikki, this stone now is like even more valuable.
Right.
Of course, we honored our previous price, but
Right.
it's so funny that we look at it and can see an F, and then they graded it and it was a D. So it got even better once it got a certificate, and it just shows you how minuscule like a D
Those
to an F
differences
is, or how it could vary if a different gemologist was looking at it. They
Right.
could have called it an E. So, I mean, really, if you're like in that range, if you stick with GHI, it's going to be pretty similar.
Yeah. I think overall, though, you need to find out the person you're going to be buying the ring for, your fiance, soon to be. You need to find out what's most important to them. If you don't know that, then just stick to the general guidelines that we've already talked about. Stay within your budget. Don't overextend yourself. Focus on the size and the color. Clarity, you can play with a little bit. Those principles are going to help you a lot in the future. And a big factor into that is color. If you think size is going to be most important, then you turn down the color a little bit. If you think that she's going to be very particular, she's going to see as it gets whiter, she's going to note she wants a really white, clear stone, then you'll have to turn that up. And you might have to go a little bit smaller on the size, but it'll be worth it. We're going to get into little tricks with the size in the next video. Carat weight, that's the third C, and how you can save money based on how much the stone weighs. Is there anything else about color that you wanted to talk about?
I think that's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think you're well informed when it comes to all the 4 C's and diamonds and jewelry. We're going to continue to do these videos. We've had a lot of fun doing this. So to our next episode, carat weight. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you on our next video.